This, this poem is called The Immigrant Story. One day in my family's life, I entered the English language. D's and T's in my teeth, S's steaming. I elongated I's, lost a few R's, included them where they weren't wanted. I often stationed a preposition at the end of a sentence. This was to guard against aggrieved inflection. Much to my surprise, strangers understood me. I continued talking. I was brazen. I said, everywhere I go, there are verbs that are doing nothing. It has been years since certain nouns were referred to by their right names. I must ask a sad question. Will the laws of entropy operate in spite of strictness? Is there a literature that chants the disappearance of tongues? This is called translation. I was reading The English Patient by Michael Ondaatje and saw in one sentence the name Savonarola. Oh, I was overturned, tumbled into the downstairs music parlor, my own shouting place, where I roared his biblical rage in King James English, then listened at our player's rowdiest volume to the Passion of St. Matthew, singing that German into my skull for future resonance. In those years, my European cousins, before the arrival of gas, fire, strangulation, or only lifelong despair, had begun to wonder how they could ever have spoken, for love of literature, or childhood's language, a sentence by Rilke, or Hölderlin, or even Kafka. As for me, my ear has the normal trouble of an American speaker of foreign tongues. Still, when I'm walking along the path between our river and the railroad bed, the 100 closed cars of the New York to Quebec freight will slow from thunder to that heavy thud, which I cannot help but translate as it passes our innocent and ignorant village into German. This is a poem that I usually just read poems. I never figured out how a lot of poets think of all kinds of things to say in between their poems, and some do it extremely well, you know. And I haven't done that, but my husband was telling me I ought to do that once in a while, especially like no one would understand this poem if I didn't tell him exactly what it meant. Well, that doesn't seem right, you know. But I realized I'd have to say that this poem is something about free trade and globalization. And if you don't get it, don't say I didn't tell you. It's called Signs. I don't get it myself exactly. Signs. A man hung a sign above the town. It said, suffering, in small letters. Meaning, I thought, modest suffering. This made another man angry. He had a sign printed in large letters. It said, hope. Meaning, I thought, immodest hope. Then, acres of coffee or cocoa were laid like foreign weather on fields of maize and rice. Under the sun, the desert waited.